What is up, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of Psychics 101. Today I'm going to be covering the controversial subject of milling in the Psychic deck. Now, why is this subject controversial? That's what I'll be going over with during this video, the pros and cons of why to mill and why not to mill. Now, what do I mean by milling? I mean cards like Lila, Raiko, Card Trooper, Charge of the Light Brigade, and all the support that they utilize, such as the Plant Engine, cards like Call the Haunted, Limit Reverse, and Debris Dragon. Now, what are the pros of running mill in the Psychic deck? First and foremost, it sets up your plays with Wizard and Priest. These cards are amazing floaters. They generate huge advantage and bring out big synchro monsters like Mistworm, Trishula, Stardust Dragon, any synchro you can think of, as well as Barkion and Natria Beast to help set up the control environment. These cards are amazing, but they can't be utilized to their full potential unless there's monsters specifically in the graveyard to utilize their abilities. The milling engine puts your good fuel in the graveyard, such as Psygirl. Psygirl by itself is just a 2-star tuner with no effect. But once it's in the graveyard and it's removed from play and special summoned, it comes to the field as a free level 2 tuner that also nets you a +1 card from the top of the deck when it's removed from the field. It's an amazing card, it's a free tuner, and it's a free +1. The aspect of milling also opens up tons of plays just because Debris Dragon can bring out these two cards. They're great Debris Dragon targets. You can bring out your Black Rose, you can bring out your Iron Chain, you can bring out a lot of stuff. Just a lot more options for Debris Dragon, as if it didn't already have enough. The milling aspect also fuels up some more reverse toolboxing options like Telekinetic Powerwell. This card is amazing too, because it sets up your Mind Master play. Say if you mill a Mind Master and a Psygirl, you play this, so a Mind Master and Psygirl, you play this, and you instantly have your Mind Master and your Mind Master bait for instant synchros and instant essential OTKs. The milling option brings up a lot of possibilities that this deck wouldn't have otherwise. However, it's not without its faults. One more thing that I wanted to cover before I forget. The Psychic deck itself does not have a lot of good opening drops. Really the best thing it could do is summon a witch, which I'll get to in a little bit more later, is summon a witch. That's 2 to 3 cards in your whole deck for dropping the first turn. You almost essentially don't want to win the dice roll, because if you go second, at least you have a chance to OTK. So this deck, other than witch, it sets a Psygirl and passes. Psygirl does nothing. It tries to play wizard or it tries to play priest, and you can't utilize their effects. So, in all honesty, you really don't want to play those cards then either, unless you have something to put in the graveyard beforehand via, Foolish Burial or 1-for-1 or a milling option. So, cards like Raiko and Card Trooper are great for the deck because they give the deck a turn 1 drop that is not only going to create a milling advantage and set up their plays in the future, but it also either nets you a card or it destroys a threat on the field. Such as Necro Valley or a Sheehan or a big monster or something like that. So why is milling bad? So far I've gone over quite a few good things. Why is it bad? It's bad because what the deck does, what a pure Psychic deck does, is it's able to toolbox both out of the deck and out of the graveyard. Milling essentially removes a lot of the out-of-the-deck options. Cards like Witch and Emergency Teleport aren't nearly as good simply because they may not have the target that you're really searching for. If you have your Mind Master in the graveyard and you're trying to make an OTK push and you have these 2 cards as your option and you're looking for Mind Master, you can't search it and you can't get your OTK off. Say you're trying to create a Psygirl play and create an advantage. If you don't have any more in the deck, you can't create those plays. So that's one reason why mill's no good in a Psychic deck. The next, Overdrive Teleporter. Again, if you don't have any level 3s or you don't have the level 3s that you're looking for, you don't have that Commander or that Seeker for your tuner, or you don't have that Taciturn Priest to utilize with Overdrive Teleporter, this card becomes dead. You know, it's a 1-star 2100 tribute monster. It does nothing at that point. You know, you'd rather just not have it in your deck. So milling can decrease a lot of the toolboxing options from your deck. The worst part about the milling aspect is Taciturn Priest. Taciturn Priest is amazing. It's the main reason to run the deck. It's the best card in the deck aside from maybe Mindmaster. It just creates so many opportunities. Is a great floater. Whenever it leaves the field, it gets its ability. Not when it's just normal summoned or special summoned or anything. Whenever it leaves the field and has activated its ability, it gets its effect. This card is amazing because it just creates so many plays with synchro monsters, so many game-ending pushes, and so on and so forth. However, you have to have them in the deck in order to fully utilize its ability, and they be brought out via Overdrive Teleporter or Mindmaster. Now, if you don't have at least 2 in the deck, you're screwed. Your options are just that much more limited, and that's one of the reasons why milling is not a good thing. You know, it sucks balls just drawing into 2 of these, let alone if you happen to have 1 in hand, opening hand, and you mill with a card trooper, you mill a Taciturn Priest, you're limiting your options a lot, and it's a main reason why people aren't planning on using milling in the Psychic deck. However, there are ways around this, obviously, and a good duelist or a good build is going to remedy these conflicts and whatnot, and they're going to find the build that 1 represents them, and 2, it is able to maximize what the goal that they're trying to create. Now, personally, obviously, Psychic plans and milling in general is going to abuse a card like Pot of Avarice. Pot of Avarice is amazing because it just generates tons of pluses, it tinkers with your graveyard, but in this deck specifically, in Psychics, it puts those priests back into your deck. It puts, the Mindmaster back in your deck if you have E-Telly in hand so you can bring it out for free. Pot of Avarice is just amazing in this deck because it allows you to utilize the toolbox of your graveyard and of your deck while still generating the pluses that it needs. If you're running the milling version, you need to run at least 2 Pot of Avarice, if not 3. Really, that's all I can say. Milling is great because it allows you to fully utilize the toolboxing out of the graveyard that Psychics can do. It does hurt the idea that they can toolbox from the deck a little bit. However, there's more cards that abuse the graveyard than abuse the deck in Psychics, especially since E-Telly's at 1, and Psychic Witch, is a great monster, but it's not a necessity to the combo that it creates. It just sets them up. So maybe you can fully utilize these cards anyway. And if you draw into a dead E-Telly or dead Witch, you can always pitch it with Psychic Priest, his ability, or you could pitch it for 1/1 or something like that. So a good duelist is going to find ways around it if they really want to entertain the idea of milling. Milling is definitely a solid option, and it's definitely one that a Psychic duelist should entertain. That's going to cover my episode for today. Let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up if you like it. Let me know what you guys plan on running, whether you plan on running the Plan Engine, if you plan on running Stun variant, if you plan on running just strict OTK build, like Fish OTK kind of sort of thing. Let me know what you're running. I'm very interested to seeing. Send me questions, comments, PMs, anything, guys. I'm here for you. This is Gdubley, and I'm signing out.